episode 26 of the Fit Pro podcast.
When you're a PT and you're starting out, stick with it. Like, it's tough, and it is one of those things where you're like, fuck, like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. But
what is up, listeners of the Fit Pro podcast? Before we get into today's episode, a few words as always. If you have not already, make sure you head to the Facebook page at Fit Pro Podcast and leave a thumbs up and leave some comments. Let me know how you're liking the show. If you're liking the show, I hope you're liking the show. I feel like you like the show. So just let me know so that I am not going crazy at night. Does anybody like me? No, in all seriousness, listeners, if you have not already, make sure you head to fitpropodcast.com.au, leave a review on your favorite episode. It's free on iTunes, the podcast is, as well as we are on Play Music, Google Play Music for the listeners in US and Canada. It's not in Australia yet, but it should be soon. And for everything else, it's iTunes. That being said, let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Fit Pro podcast. I'm your host, Marvin Fayes, and today we've got a professional shit talker on. We got John Pownall from Sydney. He works out of Fitness First. He runs Shapeshifter Health and Fitness, so he's a PT as well as an aspiring artist by the name of Johnny P. So John, take a moment, let the listeners know who you are personally, and then we'll get into the show.
it has. So yeah, Marvin hit the nail on the head there. I am actually from Perth, so I just like to throw that in there. I live in Sydney, but I'm from Perth. I've only been in Sydney for about 4 years. But yeah, my name's Joan. I'm 24. I like long walks along the beach, training people, rapping into a microphone on occasion, and just generally enjoying life. So that's me, summed up.
That's great, man. And I really wanted to get you on the show because on the show we're all about being real, we're all about being raw, and I feel we need to get a whole bunch of different angles. Now, yeah. I've had your super successful fitness professionals. I've had the people that are just starting out. You're about the middle ground, but you're also going on a few different pathways. Let the listeners know where you're at professionally.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been PTing for coming up to about 3 years now. I got a job at Fitness First. I'd lost a lot of weight when I was younger and stuff, and sort of started on my fitness journey when I was like 16. Got a job at Fitness First in like the sales office, went through all the other hoops I had to jump through, all the different positions there. Eventually came on as a franchise PT with them, which has its pros, has its cons, but have been doing it for about 3 years, training, on average about 30 people a week. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to be doing with my life. I don't think many people know unless they've got something like a passion that's like just screaming at them, like do this, or they've been doing sport, whatever it is. I never wanted to go to uni, didn't really have the intention of that, but was like, I'll train all these people. I love people. I love chatting to people. I love making people feel good about themselves, making them laugh, making them know that they can do stuff. So PT has been perfect for that. And I've just been, chugging along doing my thing. But I haven't really I've never gone to the level where I've gone, all right, I'm going to smash this. I'm going to be a fitness pro. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Still have a pretty well-known business, still train a lot of people, but use the lifestyle that I've got in fitness to target my other passions like music, and obviously, like I was saying to Marvin in the special unedited part that you listeners wouldn't hear, but just saying about the PT lifestyle obviously gives you a lot of time and things like that, so you can just go for other things, go for other passions, and but I've still been, I guess you'd consider me a successful PT, as many people in the game, quit after 12 months. They're just sort of they realize that their passion for training others isn't the same as their passion for training themselves. But yeah, I've been consistently busy, have found my sort of niche as to what I like with training people. I've just been able to, I guess, leverage my PT lifestyle to work on my music and stuff as well.
All right, perfect, man. And we talk about the fitness lifestyle a lot, and I think a lot of people get involved in, especially being a personal trainer, because of all the free time. And we did speak about this before, but I think it's quite important to bring up. And that bird won't fucking shut up in the background, but we'll deal with that later. But yeah, man, the lifestyle side of things, I think people get into it because they feel like, oh, it's going to be so good. I'm going to be able to go to the beach every day. I'm going to be able to go and do whatever I want to do, and which is fine. Yeah. But obviously that does not come immediately. No. So I think we need to stress the fact that, there's a bit of hard work that goes into it immediately. No, when I say a bit, I mean like 24 hours living in the gym. Yeah. There's the hard work side of things that people sort of forget about. Like, they think that they're going to become a personal trainer and all of a sudden you're going to be able to go to the beach every single day during summer and have a thriving client base of 30 people. It doesn't. That's a fantasy. Like, that doesn't work. Yeah. But like once you've done the hard yards, once you've done once you've done a year, you're generally the veteran in the gym of a normal gym. Every fucking leaves. Yeah. And you can then focus on other things, which I don't feel a lot of PTs do a lot. And that's why hearing what you're doing with like your music is so inspiring, because there's so much better things to be doing with your time than taking selfies on the beach.
It is good to get the odd selfie in, though, you know, like just make sure the abs are popping. Probably not right now for me, 105 kilos. I probably won't take an ab selfie for a while, but
me and you both, brother. I think we're about the same weight, actually.
I've been on the bulk.
Just forever bulking. I used to get massages and stuff during the day, and that's the life once you've put in the work.
Yeah, of course.
But your pathway is a little bit different. So you're good at music. You're a good artist. I've heard your stuff.
Thanks.
Right. So when did you realize you were good at it, and when did you start to capitalize on it, given the free time that you had from doing fitness?
Well, it all started last year, really. Like, I've got musical family, like, from being a kid. Like, my mum has always played guitar. She always used to sing with my aunties at events, and they had, like, little groups. And my nan, my grandpa, everyone really, like, musical, plays the piano or whatever. I, like, was drawn to the drums when I was, like, probably 5, and, like, picked up drums and, like, ended up playing live with a band. Like, I asked my mum, I was like, hey, mum, like, can I like play drums or whatever? And she was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I can't remember, we're at some concert when I was real young. And I ended up just asking, and they were like, yeah, why not? And I ended up like playing along with the band, and I was like 5. And I like remember it, and I was like, sweet. Like, and everyone was like, how long has he been playing for? And she's like, he's never touched a drum set in his life. And I was like, I guess that's always been like in me, you know, it's like in my blood. So it had always, I don't know, I've always been a massive hip-hop head. I've always loved Aussie hip-hop. I've loved American hip-hop. Like, I'm the blackest white guy you'll ever meet. I'm like an inside-out Oreo, 100%. And, like, same with my cousins, who are basically, like, my brothers and sisters. And we all grew up together, just, like, cranking Rough Riders and DMX and being ghetto white kids. And, so, like, I guess it's always just been in the background, and I'd sometimes write music, like at times when I was really stressed in my life, just write little poems or little bits and pieces, and would just try and, like, I guess, paint a picture of what was going on in my life. And it was sort of just a good sort of stress relief outside of the gym for me as well. But I never really took it seriously. And then met my girlfriend over a year ago, and she sort of was super, super, super supportive of whatever I did. I've been in a relationship in the past where the girl was just didn't really, like, she just wanted to be a housewife and just wanted me to just, you know, get a job, not pursue anything, you know what I mean? Yeah, just a dead relationship. But anyways, my girlfriend, my current girlfriend, super, super supportive, and I sort of just balled up one day and had written a song in, like, I guess some spare time during my day, and showed her, and she's like, that's actually really good. Like, and I was like, I was like, all right, let's see what I can do. And then eventually, like, sort of kept it to myself, kept writing bits and pieces, and then like I think it had been a month or 2 after that, and then I was like, stuff it, like, found this page on Facebook called Dope Rappers, and there's like 30,000 members on there. Was watching what a lot of the guys were putting out there, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. Like, let's see what I can do. Put up a video and got a few thousand hits, and was like, all right, sweet, got it. Like, I think I think I'm just going to keep working on this. And then obviously been treating it more as like a career rather as just a hobby, like actually trying to pursue things, and things have just sort of have worked in and have been really good. So before I really got into my music, my days as a PT, when I first started, I would just work whatever hours I could, literally just to make money, and ran myself ragged, which obviously you would know as well, and PTs that have been doing it for a while would know, like, it works for a while, but then you just get so tired that you're like, this isn't worth it. Like, I've earned some good money, but I'm just knackered, and you get sick, and your own training goes out the window and everything like that. But yeah, I eventually just started using that time in the middle of the day. Like, eventually after I'd quieted down a little bit and got more stuck into my routine of PT, I used that time to start working on my music rather than just taking clients all throughout the middle of the day and whatever. I usually work a block in the morning and a block in the evening, so I'd have time in the middle of the day, and actually learned to say no to clients as well, which is a pretty important thing. So, you know, just sort of make your own routine. So yeah, I was able to basically leverage that to then have free time to work on work on music, and and I guess enjoy the lifestyle. Go for a walk, whatever, clear my head, give myself some inspiration, crank some music, and then just, you know, get stuck into it, write something. So so it wasn't always like being productive. There's many a day that I was not productive in the middle of the day, but yeah, when you start to be like that, you start to think like, well, like maybe I should just get a 9 to 5. You just sort of start to feel a bit shit. You're like, oh, I should be doing more with my life. Like, what am I doing? So music's given me more of a purpose outside of training as well. And yeah, literally been just hammering, like been 2 or 3 hours in the gym in the morning, 2 or 3 hours at night, and then middle of the day, like in front of the laptop in the studio, just smashing stuff out. So yeah.
Right. And like that's the difference between the good ones and the lazy ones that don't do anything. Is you find something to fill the time that can basically fuel your passion in the long run. And I love what you've done with the music. And do you rap to your clients at all, or no?
Heaps of them. I had a guy I trained tonight that I do his programming for his AFL team. And he's like, oh, I didn't know you could rap. He's like, that was really good. And I was like, cheers. Like, I guess it's, you know, you just get comfortable with people saying, like, you're a rapper, because obviously you just feel like, you know, I'm just some, like, white dude. I wear glasses. Like, don't call me a rapper. Like, call me a poet. Like, yeah. But, it's good, eh? Like, my clients are always... and a few of the trainers at work, obviously, like most of them, like 95% of the trainers are supportive. There's like 2 guys that are like to take the piss, so they'll just be like, oh, rap for me, bro, rap for me, and then I'll just like murder them with like a little freestyle, and they'll be like, oh. So I just drop bars. I literally drop bars at work and drop bars at work. So.
Look, I think one of the takeaways from that is there'll always be people that, not 100% of people are going to support you when you're trying to do something different.
Of course,
and especially because they can't see themselves doing it themselves. So that's an awesome story. But what is this is a cool question. What will be the transferable skill, right, that helps you be successful in PT and music across the
Being the one skill I'd say that transfers between both perfectly is being relatable. Being able to relate to your clients is a massive thing. There's a lot of PTs that are like, you know, big fellas or whatever, or good looking girls, and they automatically just go, yes, sweet, I've got this. Like, listen to me, do this, I can train you, piece of cake, whatever. But they're usually the ones that the clients eventually like just peel away from, and they're like, oh, like, I'm not actually getting a connection from what you're offering me. I'm literally just like doing what you're telling me, but like you need to build a relationship, like build rapport. And obviously as an artist, like being able to write music that people relate to, like shit, like that's the sort of music I like. Like, you of course love your random, like, not that I love this song, but friggin' like Panda or something, like you thump it in your car and you're like, yeah, like whatever, just like is just one of those stupid hype songs. But then you hear something that's like a bit deeper that sort of you relate with, and you're like, damn, like yeah, this gets me 100%. And you've got to be like that with your clients as well. You can't just, that's why being a PT is quite tiring, even though you might only work 5 hours a day, you're knackered because you're giving them everything. You're giving them your attention 100%. You're caring about what they're saying. You're relating to their situation. You know, most PTs have been there, they've lost weight, or they've built their body, they've transformed it. So you're putting yourself in their shoes. And if I wrote music about, you know, shit that's just completely unrelatable, like, no one would really care. Like, you'd get the odd people that are like, yeah, like, crank this at a club or something, but it's like, I can't brag about being a multi-millionaire and whatever and cruising around in my Maserati. Like, it's not what, you know, you want to hear that sometimes and you're just like, yeah, but the majority of the time you want to relate to it. So I think relatability and your people skills, like, even just when I did my first gig in Melbourne in December last year, and that was like, you know, just being able to get on stage and communicate effectively and get the people's attention. Like, you got to be like that with your clients as well. If you're just the plain package robot trainer, like, they'll find someone else. So
100%, man. You got to definitely be an MC when it comes to that sort of stuff. Like, when you're dealing with people, I think that's something that gets left behind in all the training that everybody does nowadays. Is all their what do they call it? The points to keep your qualification. I forget what it's called.
Oh, the CECs and that. Yeah.
You know, they need a CEC in building relationships. There's none of that shit.
Yeah, there's no actual, like, interpersonal skills that you...
No.
Yeah.
I think they undervalue it because they think they've got the knowledge, blah, blah. You can have all the knowledge in the world and not be able to relate to people, and it means nothing. You just sound dumb.
100%.
And nobody's going to listen to you because, I mean, ultimately, especially as a PT, okay, there's fitness professions that don't need as much, but as a PT, it's in the fucking name, right? You're a personal trainer, right? I found myself many times basically training people, but just going through the movements, but actually counseling them on their day and like shit that's gone wrong, and they get more from that than they get from the training.
Definitely.
Being able to talk to people is so undervalued. It needs to be like a whole fucking month in your courses.
Yeah, exactly. They need to have a separate module on your being able to be someone's counselor. Like, obviously you want them to train, like, you want them to get results, but I've had clients that have, like, literally, like, they have a 7 p.m. appointment with me. I get a call at 6:55. John, we're not training tonight. We're talking. This is what's going on. And I, like, literally counseled them through their son being a brat, or like I've had some serious shit. Like, I've had people wanting to leave their husbands, and I've had all this stuff, and I've had, like, you know, obviously there's confidentiality, and I don't say names or anything, but, like, those people, like, I have a massive insight into their life because I'm that one person in their life that's that neutral person that doesn't really, I guess, care in a way, like, can't really take it personally, doesn't really have much of an influence, but I can be there to listen, and I can also be there to give my opinion, and if they take it, they take it. So and my personal training manager, Ray, he was, like, awesome mentor for me when I first started as a PT, and he said to me straight off the bat, which, like, wasn't really an insult to me, but he was like, John, you got a good personality, bro. He's like, people are going to be drawn to you. You're always going to be busy. You're going to have lots of clients. You might not have the most knowledge, but you will have more clients than the guys that do. And I was like, yeah, like, and obviously I've done plenty of courses. I've done everything. Like, I'm overqualified, as, like, a lot of PTs are. Like, they're sort of, like, overqualified but under-skilled, if that makes sense. But, like, I've got all the qualifications. I've done over and above what you're meant to do. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you've got that client that you can just chat with and have a laugh with, and also push them and make them realize that they can do more than what they think they can, then you're going to be a better PT, really. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think it's undervalued again, the mental aspect of it. People's minds is what you need to help them with.
Change that first and change everything else. Everything else will come with it. Like,
change the mindset and the body will follow, because 9 times out of 10, the reason their body's like that is because of them either weaker mindset or just uneducated mindset.
Yeah.
And you'll get your 5% that are like that because of diseases, but then they usually stem from the poor mindset to begin with. So,
exactly.
and I find as a personal trainer, you do get an insight to their life. You do get you get trusted with information. It's almost like you're like a doctor. There's confidentiality behind what they're saying. You're not going to go talking about it. So, and I always found it quite interesting as you're like breaking someone down, as you're going through a workout. Especially females, to be honest, they get so emotional once you push them to a point. They will just talk about all their problems, but not straight away, but like say halfway through the session, I had a shit work today. This and this happened. That and that happened. It's actually quite interesting, and it's a part of PT that people don't really talk about.
And
now,
go from it. All I was going to say is it's a cool thing as well when you've had clients that you've had for like years. Like I've had clients that I've had for 2 years or more. And they become like family, you know, like obviously they give you like bloody little birthday presents and they're really, you know, you go out and have barbecues with them, you catch up and all that sort of stuff. And it's cool because you have an insight in their life that a lot of other people don't. And you sort of feel valued. You're like, oh, like, yeah, like I actually mean something to this person. Like they tell me things that they wouldn't tell other people because they trust me and they, you know, I'm their little break from their world that they get twice or 3 times a week or 10 times a week. No, but I wish I had clients that train me 10 times a week. Once every 3 months. Yeah.
Three clients that train 10 times a week.
Yeah, that's all you want.
That's all you want.
Got an A in the shade.
So as a PT, how did you, because I assume you've got your niche, you got what you're good at. Now, what are you good at as a PT, and how did you make your way to finding that you're good at that, just like your music sort of thing?
Yeah, so basically I went to a pharmacy and bought as much illegal steroids as I could, and just basically got all my clients down and got them to start injecting, and then they're all pro bodybuilders now, so... that's my niche. No,
Johnny Rambod.
With all my clients, it took me a while to sort of figure out, because obviously when you start, you're like, I just want to help everyone, and you take on everyone, and you're like, you sort of do have to have the skill of knowing. You have to be a good generalist as a PT. Like you have to be able to, you know, obviously help with fat loss, help with hypertrophy, help with strength gains, whatever. But through our gym, like we've got a physiotherapy built onto our gym, Momentum Physio, and the guys that work there, Troy and Luke, they're just like absolute legends, super knowledgeable. The rest of the stuff, they're awesome too. But they, I've worked alongside them and my friend Andrew, who's a chiro, and I've learned a lot of stuff from them. So my sort of niche for my clients, regardless of what their goal is, my goal for them is always to have them structurally sound, work from the ankle up, make sure every joint is perfect. Like if they've got glute imbalances, fix those glute imbalances, get their hips right, check their, you know, their levels of dorsiflexion in their ankles, and make sure that their ankles are right. They're not too tight. Like just make sure that like our training's just not going to be contraindicated for them, and just fixing postural stuff, like just making sure that they are just going to be without injury. Because there's so many people that are like, yeah, sweet. Like my client was like, oh, he said he trained with a dude in Perth, at a Good Life, and I know the guy as well. And I used to refer people that were moving from Sydney to Perth to him, but now I don't anymore. But he was like, oh, yeah, sweet. Like, how much have you leg pressed before? And he was like, my client was like, oh, like 40. And he was like, sweet, let's do like 120. And just like screwed my client's back up because he didn't realize he had a posterior pelvic tilt, and he basically jammed his lower back up and flared up a disc and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just like, man, like, I'm really blessed to have the physios and stuff that I know, and I've learnt, like, obviously I don't know as much as a physio, and I'll always refer out if stuff is above my level, but I have a pretty good knowledge of where things should be, what's a normal range for everything, like with the hamstrings, with your glutes, with whatever, internal, external rotators, and just being able to, try and correct those basic things first, and then we can just go for gold. Like, then we can load them up, we can get them going on their strength, we can, get them building a ton of muscle on or stripping fat, but Yeah, the fitness industry is a funny one because obviously people go with fads, and you know how it is. Like you just see people doing shit all
glamorous stuff.
Yeah. You see people doing shit all the time, and you're like, what? Like, why? Like, if I went up to every person in the gym that was doing something wrong, I literally wouldn't be able to work because, you know, it's just shit. And huh?
You get run out of time.
Oh man, definitely. That whole middle part of my day would there'd be no music. They'd just be telling people what to do. But yeah,
you'd be that guy.
Huh?
You'd be that guy.
Oh, yeah, and I don't want to be that guy. I always lie. I always go up to them and I go, oh, like, man, I just thought I'd let you know, like, I had an injury from what you're doing. Like, I didn't, but I'll be like, oh, like, yeah, I know. I was doing an incline dumbbell bench press, and I was like, had my neck off the bench and was like looking down, and you know, I tweaked my neck, so I probably wouldn't do that. Like, I just like literally lie, so they sort of listen to me. If I'm like, mate, you're doing that wrong, then they'll just be like, oh, piss off, mate, who are you? But
I think that's the funnest part of PT is actually thinking of the excuses to go, because you can't just go up to people and be like, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is good, but you could do it this way.
Compliment sandwich. You're doing well, but you're shit. But you're good.
Structured sandwich or whatever it's called. Yeah. Like, what you're doing is great. This is what you could improve on, but you're still doing great. Personal doing 101. Personal training 101. Yeah. Don't be a dick straight away.
Yeah. Gotta let him go.
That was part 1 of this interview with Johnny P. Part 2 will be out on episode 28. And if you want to know more about Johnny P, make sure you head to his social links in the show notes on fitpropodcast.com. Let your friends know about your favorite rapper, Johnny P, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.